Hi, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Corey Yoder of Coriander Quilts, and today I am sharing a Barn Star trunk show. In my Sunwashed trunk show, I shared Barn Star number 5 and mentioned that I have a series of Barn Star patterns that I've released over the years. And today I thought it would be fun to show you all 5 of the Barn Star quilt patterns. My Barn Star patterns finish at 40 inches square. All of them do. So you can either piece them individually for a 40-inch square wall hanging or table topper, or if you wanted to, you could choose your favorite 4, piece each one, and then sew the 4 together to create one large 80-inch square quilt, which would be a really fun way to show off 4 of your favorite patterns. I started releasing these in 2017 periodically with my fabric lines, and they've become very popular patterns for me. And so without further ado, here is Barn Star number 1. This is the Barn Star quilt pattern that kicked off the series. I released this pattern with my Pepper Flax line of fabric, and it would be beautiful made using Buttercup and Slate fabrics, which are currently in stores right now. If you were to use the large scale white background floral mixed with one of the little yellow prints, and then you would just need a Bella Solid for your background, you would be all set. I do want to take down each of these quilts as I show them in this format, bring them down below so that we can talk more about the quilting, show you the backing and the binding. So let me pull this quilt down and we will do just that. All right, here is the quilt up close. You can see the quilting on it is an orange peel design. My quilter was Kayleen Perry for the quilting on this one. And as with any of my trunk show videos, I will be sure and link my quilter's information as well as the quilting design information in the description box below, so that if you want to reference any of that for any of your quilts, you have it easily accessible. So it's a small orange peel quilting design. For the backing, we used a large scale print from Pepper Flax, but like I said, Buttercup and Slate is a great substitute for this quilt right now. The stripe on the binding was also from Pepper Flax. Buttercup and Slate has a beautiful stripe. It's a sister line to Pepper Flax, so it has the same sort of feel with the same sort of prints in that collection as well. Now, this Moda Bella Solid is the color of Etchings Charcoal. I use this color gray a lot in my quilts, and I also use Moda Bella Solid in the color Etchings Slate, which is a slightly lighter gray. So that is a little bit of a look at this one. And now behind me, you can see we have Barn Star 2, which has been hung up for you guys to look at. This quilt I released with my Sunnyside Up fabric line, and this one is charm pack friendly. It takes just over a full charm pack, so 2 charm packs and then a bit of yardage for this quilt. And let's take a look at this one up close too. And here we have Barn Star 2 laid out in front of me. The quilting on this, the quilting design is called Rainbows, and it was also quilted by Kayleen Perry. And I often will have my quilters shrink down the quilting motifs when they are quilting something like this. I think it just looks so sweet when the quilting design is of such a nice small scale. For the backing on this, it's a print from my Lulu Lane fabric line, and it's just sort of a textury gray kind of mini crosshatch print. And then the binding was also from my Sunnyside Up fabric line. These Barn Star quilts are going to look really nice in a variety of different fabric lines. I have done digital versions of these patterns many times over the years to see what they look like in different collections, and they always look so sweet. I especially like how they look in holiday fabrics. As you're planning for your holiday projects, these all look beautiful in holiday fabrics. Reds, greens, even grays and whites would carry you well into the winter months. So just because the fabric lines are no longer available right now doesn't mean that we can't find other fabric lines that look just as beautiful to use in these Barn Star quilt patterns. Behind me, you can see Barn Star number 3. This is Strawberry Jam is the fabric line, and this one uses cuts of yardage. And just like with the others, we'll just pull this down and I'll talk about fabrics and quilting a little bit more. Here is Barn Star 3 up close. The quilting design on this is called Rind, and it is kind of an echoing orange peel sort of design. I have used this quilting design on many different quilts. It's kind of a go-to for me, and I find myself going back to it often. Kayleen Perry was the quilter on this quilt as well. The backing is another print from Strawberry Jam, and then a little stripe for the binding. So that gives you an idea of this quilt. Let's talk about this border just a little bit too. This was another print that was in my Strawberry Jam line of fabric. It is sort of a floral gingham type print. And I thought that worked really pretty for the border on this quilt. Of course, that would work great for any flowery sort of print that you might want to substitute out there. But that was kind of a fun way to use that print in the collection. All right, popping back behind me here, we have Barn Star number 4. This quilt was made using my Sugarcreek line of fabric. And this is a nice, quick, simple, fast to piece quilt. Those pieces are all large. And with just the one block, these Barn Star patterns do come together fast. You can piece them pretty quickly because they're mostly just like making one quilt block plus borders, but on a big scale. Let's take a look at this one down below too. Here is Barn Star 4 laid out so that you can see the quilting. On this one, the name of the quilting design is Clamshell Ice Cream Cone 2. Make sure you get the 2 in there because it is a little bit different than 1. But like I said, I'm going to link to that information below so that if you want this quilting design, it's easy for you to find. This is Sugarcreek fabrics. As I mentioned, the stripe that we used here is the same for the binding. And then the backing on this is a little bit different. Now this is something I can't recommend doing, but it was a print that I thought was kind of fun for a backing. It's actually a fabric that was carried by IKEA many years ago. It's a little bit of a wider fabric. If I remember right, it was 56 or 60 inches wide. So I purchased a few yards of it. The quality is not great. It's a very lightweight fabric and it's nowhere near the quality that you would get in a quilting cotton purchased from your local quilt shop. But this quilt I knew was not going to get a lot of wash wear. And so I know that that works out okay for here. But if this was a quilt that I was going to be washing a lot and that I know would be getting a lot of use, I would not have made this choice for the backing. That being said, it's kind of a neat one. It has just big script words throughout it. And I think it's kind of fun, but not one that I would recommend. Anyways, so that's what this one looks like up close. My quilter, I don't think I said who quilted this, was David of Quilting by David. So I will make sure and link him down below as well. So you've got his quilting information should you want to send anything to him or Kayleen, you'll have them both. We have one more Barn Star to look at. It's the one behind me. This is the one that I shared most recently in my Sunwashed video. This is Barn Star 5 and it's my most recent Barn Star design and it uses my Sunwashed fabrics. So we'll take this one down and have a peek at it up close as well. If you watched my Sunwashed trunk show, you already saw this quilt. This features fabrics from my upcoming Sunwashed collection, which comes out early in 2023. So we have just a few more months to get our hands on the Sunwashed fabrics. This quilt was quilted by Kayleen, and she used a quilting design called Capri Feathers. The backing is the sweet little polka dot floral print on that dark blue. And for the binding, the name of that print is Pomegranate Polka. So these fabrics will be in quilt shops soon, and you can have fun making up a Barn Star 5 should you want to. So there's a peek at all of my Barn Stars that I have designed so far. I hope you've enjoyed this little peek at them. Going forward, I would like to share more trunk shows of some of my previous quilts that I've designed for my fabric lines. I have been sharing my my trunk shows with lines that are either just in stores or will be in stores shortly. But I do want to go back and share quilt patterns from lines that were out a few years ago. So if there are any lines that you would like to see trunk shows for, comment below so that I can get those on my radar and get that filmed. I know I definitely need to do a Cozy Up quilt trunk show very soon, and that's perfect for this time of year. And maybe Hollyberry would be another one that would be fun to see this time of year. But there are some older ones that have some really pretty quilt designs that I'd love to share too. So if you've been wanting to see any of those quilts in a video format, be sure and let me know so that I can jot those down and make sure that I'm showing you guys what you want to see. You can find all of my lines on my blog at corianderquilts.com on the right side of my page. So if you're not familiar with them, that's where you will find them. Anyways, thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll catch you again next time.